Hi. I had a chat with you about open calls a few weeks ago. You can check that out if you haven't seen it already. But I just wanted to continue that conversation because I got so much feedback from artists about it. So open calls are when it's an opportunity for you to exhibit in a gallery or a space. You send in a photograph, mostly it's a rejection, but every so often you get a yes, you get a painting in, and then what do you do next? So it's about the exhibition. So I was lucky enough to have a painting accepted in a gallery in Galway, the Outside Gallery, a new gallery there, and they had an opening night. So what I do is, if I get a painting accepted, I always try to go to the opening, because you may have heard me say this before. When I started off, I knew no artist, not one single artist. So going to an opening for me is an opportunity to meet artists. And so I'm just going to tell you what I do. I'm freezing here, so really cold, wearing my Topsis gloves. This is my studio. I'm about to go and paint, but I just wanted to chat to you about this first. So I go to openings. The very first opening I went to was in Cork, and I was so excited to go, and I went in, and then it was so intimidating because it's a room full of people and I knew not one single person. I was on my own. And of course, if you repeat, you might start meeting people. But last night, or the one in Galway, was similar because when I arrived, it was packed and I didn't know anybody, and I felt really nervous beforehand. I felt really, really nervous. I had to have a little chat with myself in my hotel, saying to myself, and this is true, if you go, you'll always meet somebody, you'll always make a connection, and I have never ever regretted going to an opening night. And I am very shy, so if I can do it, you can do it too. So open calls, really hard to get in, but when you get in, you have to go to the opening if you can at all. It is so worth it. So my strategy, I go in, deep breath, lots of people, but you can just stand there. I just look at the paintings, take some videos. I use my phone. I take videos, I take photographs. And then what I do is I approach people who I think might be an artist, if they're standing by a painting or they're looking at it or somebody is photographing them. And I say, are you an artist? Are you one of the artists? And what happened in Galway is the first few people I asked said no. They were in from the street or they were supporting an artist. But then I met somebody who was an artist, but my third or fourth time asking, he wasn't exhibiting, but he introduced me to somebody else who was. And then that guy brought me down to his painting. I asked could I take a photograph of him with it for my Instagram, and he gave me his name. I looked at him up on Instagram and I followed him so I would have his handle, and he told me about the painting. He told me what he was doing, really interesting. He introduced me to somebody else, and I did the same thing. I said, do you mind if I take a photograph of you with your work for my Instagram? He brought me up. Again, he told me about how he'd made the work. He told me what he was doing, other exhibitions. I mean, mostly the work was amazing. I really, really enjoyed it. So I met about 3 people that way. One person introduced me to the other person. All very nice. Everyone's very friendly. And then 2 lovely artists came up to me who recognized me from Instagram and said, hi, are you Aideen? I follow you. And they showed me their work. They told me what they were doing. We had a chat, and I got some photographs of them, and it was great. And then at the very, very end, my husband arrived, and I asked him to take some photographs of me with my paintings. So I had, as somebody told me during lockdown, and this guy is a real pro at Instagram. He's not an artist, he's on TV, but he said if you don't document it, for Instagram it's like it hadn't happened. So I mean, that's not true. Obviously, you know what happened. You have your experience. But by taking, I think it's just using that opportunity to document, particularly when you're on your own. It's very easy because you don't really have anyone to talk to. So I just take videos, I take photographs. And then in the morning before I left Galway, I just went in again and just took a video. I just went around the whole exhibition with my phone, did one long video, and then I uploaded that to my stories. The other thing I try and do is I try and share as many other artists as I can. Into my stories, I made a reel, you can do it as a post. And I think that's great. I actually bought a couple of pieces myself. There was just some amazing art there. So that's it really. Exhibitions are intimidating to go to if you know nobody and if you're on your own. Sometimes it's nearly better to be on your own because you can stay as long as you want and you're not minding anybody. You don't have to worry if they're bored, particularly if they're not artists, they might be bored. And you can look at the work and you just, that's my line. You just say, are you an artist? And then say, would you mind showing me your work? Could I photograph you for my Instagram account? And I've only had one person ever said no. Hundreds of people say yes. So that's it. That's my my tuppence worth about open calls, going to the exhibition. And I think every time you go and do something out of your comfort zone, I think good things happen because you meet people, you make connections, and you just never know. And if you're like me and you want your work to be out there and you want to meet artists, it's an amazing opportunity if you can at all. And it's hard to go. Like I have family, it's challenging to leave my family. It's expensive, I have to stay there, but it's an investment and it's an amazing opportunity. And I have never ever regretted going to an opening night, no matter how hard and how scary it was at the time. So that's it. I'm off to paint. I hope this is useful. Let me know any questions, or hopefully you can apply some of this to your next opening. If you're like me and you don't know any artists. Lots of you know people, but if you don't, that's my line. And just take photographs of people and just share their work. Bye. Thanks for joining.